Hello, everyone. Welcome to William in the Magic Box. Merry Christmas. I hope everyone is having an amazing time with your family, your friends, and your loved ones. And to celebrate this special occasion, we're going to have a lovely man called Zach. So, Zach is from Yorkshire in England, in the UK. So, let's see what Zach has to say. Merry Christmas, and I hope everyone enjoys the interview. So, hello, Zach. Merry Christmas.
Merry Christmas.
So, of course, today it's a very special day. Today, we are celebrating Christmas, yeah? So tell
Yes.
me how you feeling today?
Yeah, pretty good actually. I've been spending the day with friends and neighbours.
Uh-huh.
It's the first year I haven't been with family,
Okay.
but it's really nice to be with my neighbours. They've supported me a lot over the last couple of years, so it's going to be really nice day.
Oh, that's sweet. So let's start the interview talking about Christmas. So tell me, what's the meaning of Christmas for you, Zach? When you think about Christmas, what's the best, the memories or the feelings or what's going on in your mind when you think about Christmas?
I think the most prominent memory for me at Christmas was as a child. Um, After we'd done all the presents with mum and dad in the morning, um, we used to always obviously get a new set of clothes for Christmas, always. And we'd put on our new clothes for Christmas and we would go to my grandmother's, my mother's house for Christmas, where um, all of my aunties and uncles would be with their husbands and or wives, their children, so my cousins, my grandmother's partner, her ex-partners, their children. It was
Wow.
massive. And we weren't in a big house, it was just a three-bed semi. And I think we probably had to have about two sittings at dinner. But there was 20 or 30 people in the house. Um,
Wow.
and actually, whilst this is not my favorite pastime anymore, what I used to really enjoy doing was washing up with my aunties at the end of the Christmas dinner. Me washing up and then drying, and being a little 5-year-old on a stool at the sink, doing all of that, which I thought was absolutely fantastic. Now, of course, I wouldn't be without my dishwasher, but that's one of my fondest memories, being with
Wow.
family. And for me, family and the desire for family has always been very strong. Although that hasn't always been the easiest route because, well, families aren't, are they?
Of
And
course.
as I've got older, things change. But certainly, I always desired to have that family connection.
Oh, wow. And through the years, do you have like a Christmas tradition that do you do every Christmas or not? It's kind of it goes with the flow, like movies, or how does it work for you and your family?
For me now, because I am, well, I wouldn't say estranged from my family. My family and I are not very well connected anymore. And as we've got older, my siblings and so forth, and I think this is probably more of a sign of the generation now, we've just become more and more distant and more disjointed. So there really aren't any traditions that I follow through now. And Christmas for me now isn't the special time of year that it once was. But um, I do enjoy watching others have the fun. I do enjoy people getting with their families. And when I get um, offers from friends and neighbours um, who want to include me in their Christmas,
Amazing.
it makes it even more special because
Totally.
they're opening up their home to a
Yeah.
relative, not a stranger as such, but not someone that they particularly know and very well and very detailed. But and that shows for me that Christmas still has the capacity for showing love and
Wow.
compassion and openness to anyone and everyone. And society still doesn't wish to see anybody out on the cold or on their own at Christmas. And I guess
Wow.
for me, that's the tradition of Christmas. It's having everybody included at that time of year, no matter what.
Zach, I've got goosebumps now saying that because I
Yeah.
totally agree. I totally agree. I think Christmas season is about for you to be around people that somehow there is some connection, somehow there is something related to their friendship or their, there's something about it. I think it's all about spending time with someone that for any reason is part of your life. Could be someone that
Mhm.
just met right now, could be a neighbor that's just you moved in, could be someone, anyone, a stranger, a
Mhm.
lover, could be
Mhm.
anyone. I think it's all about, we spend it's the most special time of the year, I think. And, people, they get more, I think they open their heart a little bit more, you know what I mean? I think somehow people, they see, during this season, people see people and things in a different way. I think somehow it just warms people's hearts. That's how I see it.
Absolutely. I completely agree. People are just more open and more receptive to love
Yeah,
and wanting the best for everybody around them,
totally,
no matter what is going on in society.
absolutely.
Christmas still continues, and what's interesting to see since COVID is how Christmas decorations seem to be coming out even earlier and earlier, even at
Oh,
people's homes now, because it was such a big thing during COVID because everyone was so unhappy. And so let's just put the Christmas decorations up in October. It'll make us feel better. And that seems to have carried on, you know. And interestingly enough, I have two dogs and I take them walking very early in the morning 4 or 5 o'clock in the morning, and along the road at the bottom here, and I walk along, and there's several houses that go all out with the light and the blow up things, and it just it makes me smile. I don't personally decorate, but I do love to see how everybody just lights up their houses, and yeah, and I like to see that we've adopted some of those Americanisms
totally.
in terms of going all out, and I like to see that, and it's really sweet, and every year it seems to get bigger and better.
I think people, they can't wait for the as soon as Halloween finish, people, they already start to get think about Christmas. All this, all the stores and everything is full of
Mhm.
Halloween things. As soon as
Mhm.
third on the first of the I see Halloween finish, it started already selling things, selling and
Mhm.
decorate and everything. It's
Mm.
great. It's great. It's my
Absolutely.
favorite time of the year for sure. So Zach, tell me where you're from.
I am from Yorkshire, born and bred. I live in a little town called Harrogate.
Okay.
It's an old Victorian spa town,
Yeah.
very popular with Queen Victoria.
Wow.
Um, so we had a tradition in England back in the Victorian era of what was referred as taking the waters, um, and we have a special um, it's like a sulfur water, but it was supposed to be very good for your health. And it's sort of everyone came to the spas and the saunas and the treatments and to get better, and it was very popular with Queen Victoria. In fact, there's a statue of her right in the middle of the town.
Wow. So tell me, what was the biggest joy of growing up there in your city, in your hometown?
Harrogate, um, it's a small town. It's very pretty.
Uh-huh.
We have a very fortunate because it was obviously this spa town, and we had a lot of visitors, and it was about health and well-being. There were a lot of gardens, and where people used to, in what would be referred to as promenade, in the Victorian area, and they would walk through the gardens and the parks, and we have this beautiful area called the Victoria Gardens, obviously after Queen Victoria.
Uh-huh.
Um, and we also have an area in Harrogate called the Stray, which is
Okay.
200 acres of grass, and
Oh,
it was
wow.
donated to the town by a very wealthy man under the proviso that it will never ever be built on.
Wow.
And as you drive into Harrogate, you just see this green space and all these huge old trees. And interesting enough, at Christmas and throughout the winter, they put all the fairy lights on the trees. So you're driving in, and there's this grass, and there's fairy lights on these trees. Obviously, they've got no leaves on. In the springtime, it's covered in crocuses and daffodils, and the centre of town is always filled with flowers. So for me, what I remember the most is just how pretty it was, all the gardens and all the flowers, and um, it was just always so beautiful.
Amazing. Zach, and what do you do for work, for living?
So I have a combination of things. I am a chief financial officer for a charity, and I am also a digital content creator.
Wow. So walk me through a little bit more about both careers.
Gosh, so I went into accounts, in my mid-20s.
Okay.
I actually went to university and trained as an opera singer, of all things, and I have my
Oh,
bachelor's and my master's in opera.
oh my God.
I know, a long distance path, as you can hear. I have nothing but a croaky voice anymore. But I did that, and my parents always insisted I needed a career, not just do the arts, because obviously they were traditional, and um, the arts wasn't a career. So my mother and her mother were accountants, and I remember working with my mum in the summer holidays in her office, doing a lot of filing because it was obviously very paper heavy back in those days. And so it seemed like a natural um, career path. So I
Wow.
went into that bookkeeping, and I mainly worked in what we refer to as public practice. So that's where you have a firm of accountants that deal with
Okay.
lots of different things.
I see.
But about 6 years ago, I started my own firm, if you like, and I started working predominantly with charities.
Wow.
Um, and I now work predominantly with two charities. Um, uh, One is a disability charity, and we
Mhm.
specialize in supporting disabled people and people with complex mental health needs to access services, to access benefits, to access equipment for independent living, to help them access funding so they can get to work and actually be in work and very much be independent. Our philosophy, if you like, on disability is people are not disabled by their ailments, but they are disabled by the barriers that society puts in front
Good
of
one.
them. And so we try and tackle those. Um,
Amazing.
and the other organization is what's called an infrastructure charity. What we do is we do all the negotiating with local central government, the NHS, and we do all the bargaining and all the bureaucracy and get the
Mhm.
money out of them. And then we then dish it out to smaller charities who then will deliver various services within the community for the health and care sector.
Wow. Amazing.
Yeah.
And your other career, tell me how it came along, how it started.
Yeah, so the digital content creating is within the adult industry.
Okay.
Um, I interestingly enough had a desire to move into this area from being a teenager when I discovered my father's personal stash of adult entertainment that he had. I don't know why, but I always wanted to do it. But this was back in the 90s, and really only the very, very beautiful people did that kind of work. And it was a very different industry.
Right.
The rise of platforms such as OnlyFans, etc., have allowed um, anyone and everyone, should I say, to enter this industry and to
Yep.
find the audience. And I recently have gone through somewhat of a recovery journey, mental health growth, um, and I decided that now was the time to give it a go before it was too late, and to
Right.
see if I had it in me to do it, to see if I was capable personally of doing it, and to see if I can find my audience.
Amazing.
That is a relatively new venture. It started in August. Um, it has been an interesting journey and very educational, and but also quite enlightening from a mental health perspective. For me, at the very beginning, I think I fell in love with every scene partner that I worked with. I think I had a broken heart every other day.
Oh,
Because for me, that kind of activity was always associated with deeper feelings. Um, and so I had to learn, and a very kind friend, a lovely Frenchman called Chuck, reminded me that it was work and it was a day at the office, and
yeah.
that was all it had to be regarded as. And sometimes you have good days and bad days at the office. And so once I was able to compartmentalize that, I've managed to be able to grow a little bit better personally. And interestingly enough, I met with um, an individual who I did my first collaboration with back in June.
Yeah.
And I met him last week again for another collaboration. And he said he was so proud of how far I'd come in that time, the difference in how I was in my behavior and how I was approaching the work and how I was
Amazing.
approaching the scene was far removed from how it was in June. And he was very proud of himself because he thought obviously he had contributed significantly to that. So it was really nice to hear that feedback.
Okay, Zach, so during the interview, I'm going to explore a bit more about your life and also about your journey so far, okay?
Yep.
Are you ready to go on a beautiful journey through your memories and life?
Yeah, we'll try.
Yeah,
Yeah.
amazing. Welcome to William and the Magic Box. So I have here my best full of random fun questions, okay? I'm just gonna play a song just first to relax before the first question. All right?
Mm-hmm.
Let's do it. Okay, so before we start the game, during the join, if it comes up a question that you don't want to answer, don't want to talk about, always can change. Okay?
Mm-hmm.
Right. First question is describe yourself in one positive and one negative word only.
Oh my goodness. One positive, one negative. Okay. My positive would be compassionate.
Yeah.
My negative would be, I think my negative is impatient.
Wow. And when you think about yourself, when you think about Zach, what's the biggest joy of being you? What do you like the most about being yourself?
No day is ever the same.
Mm-hmm.
I think yeah, I have an interesting personality and a personality that people seem to warm to and open up to and endear to quite easily. And I think that's really nice because it means that I can make friends quite quickly. Absolutely.
Next question. Hey, Zach. Next question is what do you miss the most from your childhood and why?
I miss the freedom of childhood.
Mm-hmm.
I was brought up in the 80s. I was born in the 80s. So 80s and 90s, I think I'm classed as a Gen X, just about. And you know, we were very much encouraged to get out of the house and go play with your friends and don't come back till dinner time. And you did. You just went out, you got on your bike and you went to your friend's house and you just played all day and then you went home and we didn't have any care or worries or concerns or obsessions or addictions to phones or anything like that. It was just so free. Um, uh, yeah, I think that was just the best thing. And I think now I think things are much more complicated. So that would definitely be the thing I miss the most.
Saying that, what's the meaning of life for you?
Oh my gosh, William.
Not right or wrong. So, what's your definition?
Think, oh, well, I have got something. I think it. I think it's to love and be loved, and and just and just try and just leave happiness wherever you go, wherever you leave, wherever you are. Just, you know, even if you're suffering, even if that individual is suffering or having a difficult time, it's just try and brighten that individual's day in some way, even if it's just to get a little laugh out of them. Uh, uh, for me, there's love is everything, and I'm not talking necessarily, you know, passionate love. Well, I am talking about passionate love, and love between friends, love between lovers, the love between you and your pet. Um, to have that closeness and that feeling of relying on someone or something and them relying on you, I think that's the meaning of it.
Beautiful, beautiful. Next question. Let's do it. So before the next question, of course, today's Christmas Day, beautiful day. Tell me something. Um, People watching this interview right now, yeah, they are in their home, they don't have much choice, they are confused about choosing a movie to watch. Tell me three big movies that people they should watch on Christmas Day, in your opinion.
Oh, Love
Okay,
Actually. Love Actually has to be
of
on the movie list.
course, Love Actually, it's a very good one for Christmas. Yeah,
Mm.
amazing. Okay, next Christmas, next question. Next question for you is: how would you describe a perfect, healthy relationship?
I've never had one, but what I have learned through my experiences is that the most important thing, the foundation of any good relationship is an interdependency on each other. It's not about being codependent. It's about lifting each other up to be as successful as possible and to take pride in each other's successes. It's not a competition. If you're in
Mhm.
a partnership, one's success is both of your success. And that for me is the most important thing. And to maintain your personalities and your independence of each other, because that's who you fell in love with in the first place, that independent person. So why you don't want to lose that person? You want to keep them, and you want to encourage them to be independent and strong, knowing in your heart that you're the one they're going to come back to, no matter what they're going out to do and what they need to do in order to live their life and achieve what they need to achieve. They're coming back to you, and that, to have that security and knowledge in that is really important.
Wow. And one person to go on a date with Zach, what this person must have?
What must they have? Patience.
Huh?
I am like many people, and certainly many people within the adult industry. I am neurodiverse on two levels, and and whilst I do my very best, I am a very complicated individual to live with and be with, and so patience is vital.
Amazing. The message out there now.
I know.
I like that because it's funny. I was talking to another lovely gentleman about relationship and dating, and he said something very interesting. He said, "William, I think it's good for you to somehow express your negative or your challenge part of yourself because of course our tendency when we go on a date is like to show, which is normal. It's not wrong with that. I think we learn to impress. We want to show our best. Want to get connected with the person. However, if we have a moment, if it comes up an opportunity, tell something that's about you that maybe, the person should be aware of, or maybe they should, okay, it is interesting. And I think it's a great way for you to be honest. And, if the person meant to be for you, it will, if I, and you know what, why not? I like that.
Absolutely. It's, neurodiversity in particular is challenging. I recognize that I am a challenging individual at times, but I
Uh-huh.
also recognize that I'm a wonderful person at times. My
Totally.
neurodiversity comes with some wonderful qualities.
Yeah.
You will never find anyone more loving and more loyal than me. Um, but that comes with some eccentricities.
Totally.
And it's best not to try and change those things because they're not changeable. They might be manageable, but not changeable. And so it's important to know what you're letting yourself in for. And I think the worst thing you can do is, this horrible phrase of fake it
Yeah.
until you make it, and people allow that fakeness to be in their entire life.
Yeah.
And if you're not behaving in your most authentic way, you're not going to attract the right person to you anyway.
Totally agree as well. Ready for another question, Zach?
Hmm.
Yes. What you drinking, by the way?
Oh, it's just fizzy water.
Amazing. Next question. Next question for you is, what is the scary thing that happened to you?
Now, I'm willing to answer this question, and it might be a bit dark, um, but I will answer it anyway.
Are you okay? Yeah, it's okay to talk about.
Oh,
No.
I'm absolutely fine to talk about. So,
Okay.
when I was 29, I moved to London, and I moved in with and shared a house with my bestest friend in the whole wide world. And in London, on the gay scene, there is a very big um, substance issue. And on my 30th birthday, I was invited by a gentleman off a dating app to go and see him, specifically to partake in this particular substance. And I remember standing at the end of my bed, getting ready to go out, and saying to myself, "Don't go. You don't need to go. You don't want to do this." Blah, blah, blah. But I decided I was going to go anyway. Um, and that led on to a 5 year struggle with addiction. Well, I say 5 year. I'm still struggling. I'm still in recovery now. So I think that's probably the hardest the hardest thing um, that I've gone through. I'm still going through, although I say this year has definitely been the turning of the corner and the light at the end of the tunnel.
Amazing.
Whilst I still struggled with it in the last 6 months, I've certainly grown exponentially mentally in my recovery,
Wow.
and through from traumas, from childhood traumas, etc., etc.
Mhm.
And so yeah, I would say that was the hardest thing I've gone through.
Wow, thanks for sharing, Zach. I think it's amazing for you to be able to talk very open about it, because it's about healing and also about helping other people out there. And I think, you know what I mean. It's great to be able for you to be able to see, that you are facing a different journey right now, a sober journey. It's amazing.
And it is, and it is so important because it is something that is um, particularly the gay community. It is infecting the community,
Yeah,
and it is spreading. It is not getting better; it's getting worse. Um, and People need to know, and they need to see that there is a way out, and there is a future, and you can get your life back together, and you can actually build a better and bigger life than you ever imagined.
totally
And it does get better, but it's a difficult and challenging journey, and you have to be ready for that.
amazing. Great. Thanks for sharing. Thanks for being so open and talk about it. Great. 3 questions left. Let's do it. Ooh. I saw your eyes very close. You got blue eyes.
Blue eyes, bluey green
Wow.
eyes. Yeah.
Wow. Before the next question, tell me, since you started, of course, you start your as a content creator not long ago, yeah. But so far, tell me a moment, a situation that it was funny doing your work, something that happened that you're not expecting, or something that the highlights of your journey so far, something that you're never gonna forget, if you can share.
I think what has been um, the most thrilling um, has been how lovely and helpful and delightful everyone I have met thus far in the industry. I think there's a certain image, expectation, impression of influencers, content creators that they are self-absorbed or arrogant or one of any other phrase along those lines. But actually, they're all really lovely people. They are all willing, certainly the ones I've met, they have all been willing to help lift each other up. It's not
Yeah,
about pushing everyone off the ladder to get to the top. It's about lifting each other because when one's successful, the other, we all become successful together. And that's, I think, what has been most helpful. Specifically, I will say, excuse me, specifically next week I'm going to Spain, to Barcelona, um, and to meet with several creators while I'm there. And I spoke with one and who recommended another, who then went on to speak with others on my behalf and to arrange more collaboration for me because they knew I was there for a short period of time. So let's what we can do together, and they're all been super helpful, super kind, so complimentary and supportive. And I was quite overwhelmed because when you think about corporate life, um,
mhm.
everyone is backstabbing each other because everybody wants the next promotion. Um, And so I come into this particular industry, and actually they're all helping each other to be bigger and better, and supporting each other to do so. I think so. I think that has been one of the nicest things I've experienced.
Beautiful, beautiful. It's good for people to break the stigma. And I had a few content creators here on the show, and they said the same as you said, William. It's a career where people they tend to judge. They think that all of them they are living in a certain way. That's people they have the stigma, but actually, there are so many content creators that they have um, a spare job where they have their professional life, and also they are doing that as a full or part-time job, and it's something that people do not expect in that. So I think
Hmm.
people, I think they're a long way to go, but I think people nowadays they are more open-minded and more approachable about that as well, without judgments, for sure.
Absolutely, absolutely.
Next question is, if you could make up a new school subject, what that would be and why?
Uh, It's kind of an extension of an old subject. We used to have um, when I was at school, we had a subject called food technology, which was basically cooking.
Okay,
But I think there needs to be an extension of that. I think it needs to be something along the lines of uh, some kind of domestic responsibilities type
okay,
subject where you learn how to pay bills and set up direct debits and
good,
do the laundry and um, um, paint walls and all of those and how to sort your council tax out, all of those really mundane, horrible things that no one ever really tells you. And whilst I recognise that some of that responsibility probably could fall on parents, and I think some parents also struggle to understand these kind of things as well. Doing a tax return for those that need to do a tax return,
yeah,
all of those things I think are really important life skills. So maybe call it a life skills class.
Yeah.
And I think those are really important, because there are some people that are not academic and they're never going to be academic, and they have absolutely no desire to be, but they can be very, very, very successful individuals at what they choose to do. But to give them those life skills will just help them, allow them the capacity to be successful at what they've chosen to do, being confident in how they're going to be running their life.
Amazing. Cool. 2 questions left, Zach. Let's do it. You like dancing?
Is that the question? I used to like dancing. I think I've turned into a bit of a dad when I'm dancing now. I think I'm a bit too stiff. I probably need to loosen up a little bit.
Before the next question, Zach, I would like you to send, a message, a Christmas message to anyone that you know, but you don't need to tell who this message is for. Just this person who is watching now, you're gonna go like, okay, I know this message is for me. Yeah. So this is a Christmas message to a person who you know, but you don't need to disclose the name of this person. Just this person who's watching now gonna go like, oh my God, I'm sure this message is for me. Okay.
Okay. So this message is for someone I've known for a long, long time, since I was 16 years old. We went to boarding school together. And this person, whilst we were not super close when we were at school, we were always just naturally brought back together through either work or university at the time, and various things. And later on in life, we lived together, and this individual has seen me through some of the darkest periods of my life, has seen me at my very, very, very worst, and has seen me at my very, very, very best. And throughout that entire time, not at any point did they judge me in any way, shape, or form. They accepted me for where I was at that point and loved me and consistently supported me no matter what. They have been loyal and dedicated through everything. Um, um, and I genuinely, to say, thank you for being there for me. Thank you for being so loyal and dedicated to me. Thank you for never judging me, and always loving me, no matter what. I hope that you have an amazing Christmas. I hope that you find the joy and the freedom and the love in life that I have recently discovered, and I hope I can bring some of that to you. And I hope that you find
Beautiful.
happiness.
Beautiful. Merry Christmas from me as well. Okay. Amazing. Next question for you is, what 3 things are you most grateful for?
I am grateful for my 2 dogs, who aren't here at the moment, but my 2 dogs, who represent both sides of my neurodiversity. One most definitely has ADHD, and the other most definitely is autistic. It's literally me in dog form. That my 2 dogs, my dad, who's no longer with us, and whilst he annoyed me at times because that's what dads do. He was always my knight in shining armor. And so I miss him, but I'm very grateful to have had him as part of my life.
Wow.
And I think the third thing that I am grateful for is my capacity for resilience.
Wow. When you think about your dad, what's the best memory that comes to your mind?
I don't think there's a single event that would stand out. I think me and my dad used to laugh. We used to laugh so much. We used to take the mickey out of each other. We were more like brothers than we were father and son. And the things we used to say, and we used to do this in the street and in restaurants and cafes, and people used to look at us as to think, why is this boy being so mean to his father? It wasn't being mean, we were just laughing and joke with each other. And I think that he always used to make me laugh. We always used to make each other laugh, and that was lovely. That was the most fantastic thing.
Oh, beautiful. Good goosebump. I'm sure that you shared that on this special day. I think during this time of the year, somehow, as we talked in the beginning of the interview about being open heart, more warmer during this time of the year, and also at the same time, we always remembered our loved ones. People that they could be far away, or maybe they're not here with us anymore, but some reason this time of the year and during this day as well, those memory comes along, and it always warms our hearts, for sure.
Absolutely.
Last question, ready?
Yes.
Let's do it. Last question. Zach, before the last question, yeah. New Year's Eve, a new year starting very soon, yeah. So in a few days, we're gonna start 2025, yeah. Tell me something about 2024 that you gonna, somehow take with you to 2025, something that you've learned, something that, somehow maybe taught you a lesson, or maybe, something nice or something different, something challenging that happened to you that for you, when you think about 2025, you go like, you know what? This event or this situation in 2024, it's gonna somehow give an impact for the new year arriving soon.
In January of this year, I did my first photo shoot in preparation for my launch into the adult industry. And I wasn't particularly mentally strong at that point, and I wasn't very confident. And certainly lacked any self-compassion. And of course, you go to these professional photographers, and they do this work, and they do it all the time. You are just another body. And when I left, I was absolutely distraught when I left, and I thought they're going to be horrible pictures. It's going to be rubbish. Everything is horrible. This is going to be stupid. I'm horrible. I'm terrible. Da, 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 da. And that evening, this was sort of a short-term catalyst, but that evening, I was ready to take my own life. And the next day, I reached out to some therapists, and one of them contacted me immediately because obviously there was a safeguarding issue around what I'd said in my email. And 12 months on, I am still with that therapist. And last week, he said to me, he said, I think you're in the healthiest, you're the fittest, healthiest state you've been this year. And I said, I am in the mentally healthiest place I have been my entire life.
Wow.
And so that has been my journey this year. And it really has been a complicated, challenging, up and down, happy, sad, dark time. But I can safely say that in 2025, no matter what 2025 brings along, I have every faith in my capability of being able to handle it, deal with it, and respond to it in a way that is healthy and appropriate, and in a way that ensures my continued mental strength and stability.
Beautiful, beautiful, Zach. Wow, what a powerful statement. You know, those moments in life, it's just remarkable, as I'm sure you know very well. Amazing.
Mm-hmm.
Thanks for sharing. Amazing. Last question for you is, tell us a funny story or something that happened to you when you were a child at school that's never gonna forget.
I think when it comes to funny things happening, memorable things perhaps. Um, um, I don't know about funny.
But let's put the question a different way. Something that when you think about your school memories, what's the something that comes to your mind straight away?
Music and performing. I was so fortunate to go to a state school. I did
Wow,
go to private school towards the end, but the chunk of my secondary or high school was a state school, and but it was very music orientated,
wow,
and I and it was recognized by the music teachers that I had a talent and an ability and a natural ability to pick up an instrument, learn an instrument, um,
wow,
but also, and this probably could stems now I know more about my own mental health and my mental way of thinking stems from some of the traumas I may have suffered as a child. I had an ability to interpret and play music that had passion and emotion behind it.
wow,
Because we can all learn a technique and we can all learn to press a button, but if
yeah,
there's no passion and meaning and love and sadness and joy behind the pushing of the button, then it sounds very different. So I think for me that was wonderful, and the fact that that was seen early on and was encouraged. And my father always, I wouldn't say he was, I wouldn't say he sort of, he didn't push me into it, but he allowed me. He allowed it to happen. He said, "Well, he clearly likes it, so let him get on with it." So it was being allowed to just do that and go down that road and enjoy it and experience it, and it did become and will always be an integral part of my life. And whilst I'm not a professional performer, I still have my piano, and I will still sit down, and I will still, when I'm sad, I know I can just open the piano and start playing. And 10, 20 minutes later, whatever I was sad about has gone.
wow. And during that time, did you have like an idol or someone that you look up to when you were a child at school, like in music?
Eh, when I sort of turned 14, 15, and my voice dropped and I became a male singer, I it was a coincidence. We were doing at school in the school choir, we were doing a medley of Les Miserables. And at the same time, the 25th anniversary of Les Miserables concert was on the television
Okay.
at the same time. Because I didn't know what this musical was. I'd never seen the musical. I couldn't afford to go to London and see musicals. It wasn't the thing. So I saw it on the television, and Michael Ball was there in one of the lead roles, obviously. And at the same time, and so I think the connection between that and I was singing some solos in the school choir, and then seeing Michael Ball do the solos that I was doing, uh, it just landed at the right time. And so Michael Ball did become a big idol. Later on, when I went on to private school, and it was a specialist music school, I learned how to sing properly. I learned how to sing opera, um, and then idols were just coming out of every cupboard you could see because opera it it blew me away. And so I think if there was an idol from then on, we're looking at people like Maria Callas, Renee Fleming, Pavarotti in his early years,
Wow.
Domingo, um, Carreras, all those big, beautiful voices. Kabaye. Oh, I couldn't go on forever. And oh, I couldn't even think more names. I don't think there's any one I could pick because they all bring something so beautiful to the genre. Um, uh, and I have such an eclectic playlist. And when I'm in the gym, there's all sorts that comes on from Lady Gaga to Verdi's Requiem to God knows what happens when I'm in the gym. But
Yeah,
uh, all of these divas and these stars of the operatic stage, each and every one of them individually became an idol.
amazing. Okay, it's not the end yet. Let's play now the word association game. Okay, I'm going to give away some words. Just tell one word that comes to your mind. Quick thinking. Okay,
Oh gosh, careful.
start with family,
Sad.
money,
Oh,
huh?
I just said oh. I know that's the first word that came to mind.
Okay, one word for love,
Happiness,
fear,
shame,
okay, life,
life,
yeah,
joy.
religion,
No, thank you.
okay, sex,
Excitement,
politics,
messy,
friendship,
vital,
desire,
mm. Pain,
okay, regrets,
mm. Regret. I'm not getting anything.
okay, success,
Ambition,
wish,
dream,
happiness,
joy. Oh, I said that already.
okay, one word for Yorkshire,
Proper,
one word for England,
distressing,
interesting, one word for sober journey,
rewarding.
one word for music,
I'm going to say joy again.
not a problem, one word for adult content creator,
Creative,
okay, and the last one now, Christmas, one word,
singing.
beautiful, beautiful. Okay, let's pretend I'm going to meet your best friend for a coffee, and I'm going to ask your best friend, define Zach in one positive word and one negative word only. What your best friend would say?
She's and I just need to think of the right word. Um, inspirational.
And negative?
Um, um, frustrating.
Say again?
Frustrating.
Okay. I'm sure your best friend knows you very well.
She does.
Let's play now, Zach, in the magic box, and you can ask me a question. Okay, Zach, you can ask me a question now.
You did ask me to find out about a question, didn't you? And I forgot. Right. I'm going to ask you a question. Okay. What has been your proudest moment in your life so far?
Beautiful question, Zach. Beautiful question. Right. You know what? For some reason, came straight away to my mind. When I was 19 years old, I left Brazil. I moved all the way to Portugal on my own. My God, I was 19 years old, and I look back, I was like, my goodness. I I think my proudest moment in my life so far, it's about how I made everything happen for that moment, because I didn't have, my parents, they couldn't support me financially. They couldn't help me. I didn't know where to go. I didn't know how to get, because I need to pay 1 month in advance my rent in Portugal. I need to have the ticket for the plane. I need to have some money for me to when I arrived in Portugal. So imagine all of that, like in nice short space of 3 months. I need to find all of that. I can get emotional when I talk about, because it was such a beautiful journey when I look back. So long story short, you know what I mean? I'm very proud how I made everything happen. It was impossible, literally, at the time for me back in Brazil. I remember asking my mom to help me, and she was crying because she couldn't. For her, was something impossible, and I didn't know what to do. I didn't know where to go. I didn't know how to, to get that, all of that, to make a dream come true. But I made it. I did. When I look back, Zach, I go like, my God, sometimes if you want something, you, if you really want it, you can make it. Most of the time, it's not easy. Yeah, it's difficult. It's hard. However, it's not impossible. So, I think that was one of the proudest moments in my life when I look back, because I was so young, you know what I mean? And I was full of dreams, and I was full of this. I wanted to have a better life. I want to explore the world. I want to help my family, and I want to speak English. I want to live in a country where I could speak English every day. That was my dream when I was a teenager, and it did happen. I made it,
Mm.
and I'll tell you something. I remembered it was the first time when I sat down in an airplane. It was the first time in an airplane, flying. And I just realized, when I remember when I sat down, it's lovely lady who was living in Portugal at the time. I call her my second mom, because I was so, you know what I mean, everything was happening so much. I was so focused in the trip, that when I kind of wake up that, okay, I made it, I remember the moments. I remember I sat down in the airplane for the first time, and I was lost in my thoughts, like literally lost in my thoughts. I left my mom crying in the airport. Imagine I was going on my own, so I was literally lost in my thoughts. And she said to me, William, do you know how to put the seat belt? And I was like, huh? And look at her. She was like, oh, okay. Oh, no, I don't. Can you explain to me? And she did. That's the moment when I realized, say, oh my God, I'm going right now. It's happening. So that was the moment. So back to your question, that it's a moment in my life that I'm so proud of. This 19 years old boy full of dreams, wanted to improve their life, my life, and my family, my parents, and help them somehow. And so yes, that's one of the proudest moments in my life for sure. When I was,
It's wonderful. You had this vision, and you went straight for it. And
yeah,
interestingly, I had a conversation um, with a gentleman I'm meeting in Spain next week, who is quite successful in the industry, and is recently becoming very even more successful. And I said to him, I said, did you ever imagine that you would be this successful when you started in this career? And without any hesitation, he said, yes,
wow,
I knew this is what I wanted to do. I was
yeah,
going to do it. It wasn't easy, but I was going to do it. And
totally,
you just exactly the same thing. That you wanted this, and
yeah,
you straight down the line,
yeah,
focused. I know it's not a straight line, but you went
yeah,
straight down, and I admire that because I think thus far in my life, I haven't really had that focus. I haven't really known what I wanted. Everything that's happened, I kind of just stumbled into accidentally. This is the first time I've made a conscious decision to do something and
right.
be successful at it.
Hmm.
And so it's really interesting to have a conversation with him and now with you and to hear this. Yes,
Yeah.
this is what I wanted to do, and I did it. And there was no question that that was what was going to happen. So that's
So
wonderful.
it's amazing, because when I look back, my God, and I'm cutting a lot. I want to write a book one day. You have no ideas. I can tell you that, but you have no idea. When if I would tell details about it, you go like, my God, how that happened? It's something like, it's willpower. That's the name to define all of that.
Absolutely.
Willpower. Thanks for the question. Thanks for the question for this special day. I think it couldn't be a better question for that. It just put me back to my memories back in Brazil, and it's amazing. I think it's I think all of us, we have some moments in our lives that somehow, you just do it. And
Hmm.
different ways, different, destinations, different approach. But I think all of us, we go through those moments in lives when we just need to do it. There's no second plan B, just plan A. Amazing.
Absolutely.
Did you enjoy the interview?
I did. It's been wonderful. I'm pleasantly surprised. I was
Oh,
a bit nervous about it. I thought, oh my gosh, I'm going to stumble and stutter and blah, blah, blah. But you've made me feel very relaxed and very welcomed. And I've had a lovely evening. Thank you.
thank you so much. First of all, I think thanks again for being ready for this special occasion, which is Christmas right now. I love your jumper. You made it happen. We are here, and I think this interview goes on a very special day where people, they are at home with their family, with their friends, with their lovers, with their, whatever, their dogs or their whatever they are right now. And I think, talking to someone, when so open about it, so open about so many topics in your life. And I think it's inspiring because people, they love that. They love to see real people. They love to see people where they are real, they are sharing sad, good, great moments. And I think that's what's about life. So I wish you and your friends and your family and friends, all of them, your neighbors, your dogs, Merry
Thank
Christmas. And I hope
you.
that this day it's remarkable. And I'm sure for now on, every Christmas we're gonna go like, oh, I was in Willy in the Magic Box on Christmas Day.
Absolutely. It's going to
Thanks
be
again.
the starting point.
Absolutely. Thanks again for being ready for the interview. Thanks for to be come along with this beautiful jumper. And I'm sure somehow people watch this interview, they're gonna appreciate your words and your interview on this special day. But
Great.
before you go, Zach, if you can share a positive message or anything that you live by.
It's something I am repeating quite frequently at the moment, and it's very, very simple. Nothing is ever as bad as it seems or as you think it is going to be.
Mhm.
Nothing. And every bad thing, every challenging thing that has happened to you so far, you have overcome, and so you will overcome all the others.
Amazing. Merry Christmas again. Enjoy your
Merry Christmas.
day and we keep in touch. Okay?
Will do. Thank you.
Thanks so much. Thanks and have a good night and keep in touch. Okay? It was a
Will
pleasure.
do.
Take care.
Bye.
Bye bye.
Bye.
So, did you like the show? Don't forget to give a like, to share it, and also don't forget to subscribe to the channel. And if you'd like to be part of the show as well, first, subscribe to our channel, and after that, just go to our website, www.williamandthemagicbox.com, and send us a request saying why would you like to be part of the show. And I see you there. Bye bye, see you next time.